Yo, what is good? My anime break. What is good, yo? So, Fairy Tale with the very interesting turn of events after getting right out of the Zareth battle, if we can call it that. It was really a one man. Excuse me. It was really a one man punching show with Natsu trying to straight go in on Zaref's face, and Zaref not really taking kindly to it. So I'm pretty lost when it comes down to what overall they could do to not kill Zaref so Natsu can still live if Zaref's story is truly what it seems to be. Natsu is E.N.D. Um, the igneous Natsu Dragoneel or something like that. So to think that he was this huge threatening thing, not to mention the cause of the Tortoros arc, supposedly they were all worshipping E.N.D. Supposedly that whole arc is now Natsu's fault with this information that we get. And it's pretty weird in my opinion, but to put it mildly, it makes a lot more sense why he's been so dangerous in the first place. He's literally uh, the perfected for or at least one of the better creations of Zareth. I was gonna say the perfected creation of Zareth, but he's not perfected if he can't kill Zareth. That's all Zareth really wanted him for, was to be killed by him. Which is kind of ironic that he wanted to be killed by someone that would then lose their life after killing him. That's a pretty messed up flip of the coin there. Like, oh, I'm gonna try to make you hate me so you kill me, and after you do so, you're coming with me, the guy that you hate, or the guy that I turned out to be, and you didn't know anything about me until 400 years later, you awoken, and that's pretty much how he could have almost met him at any time of the 400 years. So we pretty much get the layout of how Igneal and all of the other Dragon Slayers pretty much plan to get across to the future and pretty much restore their energy to have a fighting chance against Agnologia, which in hindsight doesn't really make a lot of sense, only in the case of if they're going to wait that long and try to attack him at that point. One thing, it kind of tells you that he seemingly, dragons are almost the closest things, or dragon slayers are one of the closest things to being immortal, unless there's something for some reason why he lives this long without uh losing any power, losing any like hopping a step. Like, what's making Agnologia this overall arcing villain throughout the whole entire world when only thing he is supposedly a dragon and a dragon slayer when he's a human, right? The whole point of Igneel and all of them, the reason why we hear the reason why they made their plan from their mouth is to help them not turn into dragons. But hearing this side of Zareth, it sounds like they also truly just wanted to fight Agnologia at their most powerful, and they ended up leaving it all to Igneel, who pretty much did his best, but all the other dragons just like took out the faces. So not only did the dragons kind of get screwed over with by the Tartaros when it came down to all of it, because Agnologia, if he doesn't show up in that situation, I don't think Ignis and them even come out. So that whole situation literally only popped off because Agnologia is like, oh, there's a lot going on here. I want to be a part of it. So that's how Agnologia gets down. But other than that, God, he's just going for it. We truly just learn more and more about how Zareth pretty much has lost all like hope in the idea of him uh, being destroyed, and he wanted to go and destroy the world instead. Because I mean, if you're immortal and you're gonna try to destroy the world, what if you end up blowing up the world? And then you go into space and find out that even space and like having no oxygen, which clearly he might have tried, uh, not to get too dark into a show that doesn't seemingly have that much deaths in it. Um, but if you think about it, if he's someone who's been trying to end his life for quite a bit of time, he could probably have a Deadpool montage at this point of all the times he's probably tried to off himself, you know. So keep that in mind. He's been alive for 400 years researching his own ways to take himself out. So it doesn't. I wish you can't block that. So it doesn't surprise me if he actually, um, you know, takes his own took his own advice and just kept going for it. And then once it didn't work, God, this guy's quicker than he looks. He then was hoping Natsu could do it, and he's been hoping. So after Natsu gets all this information, he does not care, like a true G that he is. Like, why would Natsu care about being related to somebody who is the epitome of evil, you know, and the only guy that they need to really take out? Why would that be a problem to Natsu? Um, and he really just tries to go for it. And as he's about to go for the last punch, learning all of this stuff that he's E.N.D, that he is related to Zareth, he's the younger brother of Zareth. All this stuff, he just kind of throws it to the wayside. And Zareth leaves the juiciest bit of, if you kill me, you die too. And man, did Happy not like that. Which just goes to show you how quick Happy is, not to mention how fast, or not fast, how good his hearing is, because he was pretty far back chilling, and he heard it clear as day what something that Natsu, I guess, did hear, but with his mentality of going in the way that he be going in, it didn't matter what he heard. He was still in the action of bopping. So that's just how it goes, and these are reasons why I love how these battles like play out and stuff, is because sure, it could have been ended with Natsu going in and hitting Zareth 50 more times with that power, or the second time that he had, and they still could have said he doesn't die or whatever. But it felt definitely more uh, deserved and more, I don't know, touching and emotional, with Happy zooming in, burning his hands, because Igneal's power is still in, like, pretty much taking has his effect on Natsu and trying to be used, and straight up pulls him out of the fight just to make sure that Natsu does not try to land any finishing blows to save him, which seemingly turns into a huge mistake, because now everybody's going to keep fighting to the bitter end. Now, Zareth just healed all of his wounds after this and gave us the most evilest, diabolical look I've ever seen, because he feels like it is literally hopeless now, and the Natsu that he knows could never in a million years do whatever the power Natsu had just prior. So it's really looking bad for everybody in Fairy Tail when it comes down to Zareth right now, and him trying to obtain the fairy heart, aka Mavis's body or her power. So overall, man, I don't think Fairy Tail has really disappointed me this final series. I mean, sure, there were some parts that were dragging on and they were like talking and stuff, but at the same time, having the characters back, having their interactions with each other, I think was the true saving grace of this show overall. Not just the fighting. The fighting helps. The actual plot of how some of the people got stronger helped, in the sense of like Natsu eating random stuff and just getting ridiculously strong. So there's all these different things that happen throughout the whole series that are very, very self-contained in the sense of, oh my God, if you didn't see it, you definitely need to see just this part or just that part. And Fairy Tail has those moments and has those fights, so I feel like we're just barely learning anything. And with the Spriggan 12 finally launching everybody, like they're just on the front lines, like they're grunt soldiers at this point. It seems like we're getting to the real close conclusion of Fairy Tail and all these other guild members probably getting bodied because, as we saw in the beginning, and as I keep stressing enough, we know this isn't going to end well for Fairy Tail, at least. And they're about to lose probably their guild hall or a lot of members. And one of the darkest things that actually happens this week was in the jail cell on Brandish, the person that she's been treating like crap, and probably one of the more easier to see guys getting taken out now. Brandish, straight up the girl who Lucy and Kana caught out of the Spriggan 12, is getting choked out for dear life because of the person she's been treating like a pet or like a slave this whole time. So it just goes to show you, if you're ever in a situation where someone who you belittle or something like that has a chance to take you out, they're more than likely going to take it. And if you're not ready for that moment, or if you expect them to continue to stay 100% loyal to you, yeah, this might happen to you. And no one's going to feel really bad for you, including seeing how you treated the person and then you didn't expect them to be mad at you, or you expected them to be your best friend. Like, big yikes, dog. Big yikes. But Fairy Tail has a very unique way of uh, putting us in this cliffhanger with Natsu being like passed out and stuff like that. So I'm guessing this is just an effect of him exerting so much power at once. We see in the previews that he clearly makes it back to Magnolia and into the Fairy Tail Guild Hall with Makarov and Lucy. The one thing that was pretty crazy to me was just seeing the three people who were about to square off with the new top saints of, like, the Magic Council or whatever, just the strongest of the strong people in Magnolia, and all of this side of our continent or whatever, and seeing the people they're going against, they aren't intimidated by them at all. Someone's got all of the magics from every single type of magic from all over the world in August. And August, man, he just looks like he's ready for whoever wants it. Step up and hold your peace, because he's going to literally just put you down. Not to mention, anybody that goes up against these characters, like the ones that are on the Spriggan 12, they're all getting huge upgrades. These people are disgustingly strong. Seeing the girl show up on the battlefield where more of the girl who was working with E.N.D was the not Blue Pegasus. I already forgot what the team that Wendy, or the guild that Wendy joined for a little bit. But seeing them and whoever else they're working with pretty much feel the pressure of someone's magic in this week of one of the Spriggan 12, it kind of shows you that if there is a ranking for all of these guys and one of them are lower than the other, the girl who's on this battlefield right now is definitely close to the top 5, just by the way that they're like giving off this vibe from her that's just ominous and straight sketchy. So I absolutely love it. I think they're killing it overall, because I mean, come on, no one expected Fairy Tail to even come back, and then now all of a sudden it's back, animations on point, and it's getting straight into the action, giving us juicy backstory, or not juicy backstories, but they're giving us the full-on stories of Zeref and Natsu. They're giving us all of the closing statements that have been open from their seasons of the anime for quite a while. So let's just be happy that this is here. And with that, everybody, let's hope that MKX 11 or MKX, God, MK11 will also have a good spot in the background for my videos because I expect to use that, and the character I'll probably be maining is Scorpion, so I thought it was amazing that someone already has made a great Scorpions in this game. So shout out to the people that are making all these customized characters. I hope you guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever the case you is when you're watching this. I am your boy, the Anime G. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like, and thank you guys for the support. I will talk to you in the next one. Alright, peace.